Got it, got it, got it. Sorry. Good afternoon, good afternoon. My name is Nomsa Clara Mbe. I'm the founder of Hope Spring Eternal Introduction Agency and the founder of Ngosi Talk Shows. So today I will be talking about reviving yourself, reinventing yourself. Not reviving. I'm thinking about reviving your relationship. That's what has been on my mind. So I will be talking about reviving yourself. So what do I mean by reviving yourself? So basically is reviving yourself, it means motivating yourself. Is motivating I'll be covering basically how to motivate your and increase your self-esteem, and I'll be covering how motivation can increase your increase your productivity, and how motivation what else will I be cover, drug addicts, and I'm trying to think, motivating yourself. When you are reinventing yourself, it means you are actually working or motivating yourself to get out from addiction. Some people have problems with addictions, and motivating yourself, and how to motivate others as well, is covering how to motivate others and how to motivate yourself. And those are the problems that we face in nowadays in our society. People struggle with addictions and social media. Our children. I was watching a video some time ago on Facebook. Actually, there's a guy basically that was doing live selling drugs on on social media, and it made me realize that basically our children are exposed to all these drugs without us realizing. I was actually shocked that Facebook would allow that, and but as soon as I pressed report, the live stopped. The guy basically disappeared. His live it disappeared, but he was doing it. He was basically broadcasting live, selling drugs live on Facebook. I came across that, and I know some people might say, "But it's weed, is this, is this?" But it's still drugs. So, what do I mean by how motivation can increase your self esteem? So, when it comes to motivation, you will notice that motivation basically does more than get you going. Basically, when you motivate yourself, and it gets you to the point where You'll be able to accept the things the way they are when you motivate yourself. I'm not talking about the motivation where you go to basically like you go to an event and then you basically you feel that you are fired, and you feel that moment that basically your life is changed and things like that. Motivation is a habit that it takes a long time. Some people think that when they go to an event it's gonna just happen just like that. It's no, it doesn't happen like that. It takes a long time, and it takes courage. It takes basically it takes determination, and it takes all your strength, depending on how hungry you are to actually change your life. Okay, there's how hungry you are to actually change your life. If you basically want to reach out for better things in life, there are so many ways that one would say that it can increase the self-esteem. Yes, it can. It can increase your relationship with people around you, and you will find there are so many ways that things that you'll be able to do when you actually when you understand the power of motivation, and you'll be happier. You will live a happier life with the people around you and in your life as well. So you'll be very, very happy. The first thing that you need to do, for me, basically, it works for me. I don't know whether it will works for you. If you want to increase your self-esteem, is basically you have to look at things the way they are, not you have to actually see things the way they are first. If you want to motivate yourself, if your life is messed up, you have to see it as messed up. Then you motivate yourself to change that messed up life. If your life needs some changing, if there is part of your life that needs some changing, you have to look at it the way it is, not making any excuses or blaming or anything. That's how you can actually motivate yourself. That's why you when you start basically following the steps of motivating yourself, you begin to notice the changes in your attitude about your life, and then you will actually be able to enjoy that life, and you will just feel better about yourself, because you will see the opportunities as they are, and then you want to change whatever the opportunities. However you want to change your life, you look at things the way they are and want them to change. If it's an opportunity that you want to go for, you'll be able to appreciate the fact that you yourself can actually do things, even it means 5 minutes going to the gym, or 5 minutes doing exercises. When you motivate yourself, there will be that you'll be more eager to put yourself out there to reach for bigger and better things. So when you motivate yourself, the third way to motivate yourself is to increase your self-esteem in a positive light. We all have gone through dark light. Somehow everyone has walked through that dark path. When things begin to go great, everything ends up the way you plan it to be. When you believe that you can actually achieve whatever you want to achieve, whether it's work, whether it's your business, whether it's the promotion, whether it's whatever you want to achieve, your life will begin to go the way you want, and you begin to feel better, and you will begin to, even when you are faced with the negativity, you will begin to see a positive light in everything. Will seem to change because you are thinking differently. So that's what increasing self-esteem is look at things in a different way, and When you begin to think positive, you are able to respect yourself. You are able to be grateful of yourself. You are able to appreciate others. You are able to appreciate yourself. You are able to appreciate smaller things in life that comes your way. You are able to basically to appreciate your life. And motivation basically is very important, because you won't be able to succeed in anything that you want to achieve until you are able to drive yourself. Basically, you need to be the one that is on that on driving the car, the driver's seat. You need to be the driver. You need to make, that's how you motivate yourself in your life. So the reason you need to be a driver in that car seat is because that's what is going to make you a better person, not somebody else driving the car. Without motivations, there are a lot of things in life that will seem meaningless. You get up in the morning, you look at life and see life is meaningless. You look at life, and if you are not motivated, you look at life and tell yourself that there's no point. But when you are motivated basically to do something, there's a great sense that you can achieve these things. There's appreciations inside of you that makes it worth doing. When you appreciate you appreciate your life, you appreciate your breathing. When you appreciate the things that you do, knowing and believing that you fully capable of doing something that you truly desire, and basically being happy about it, it is a great feeling. So you can agree with me that it is a great feeling when you do something that you desire. However, you just need basically, you need to find the right thing to get you going. And all you need to do is find something that you can be passionate about, and find someone that can be a champion to help you, basically to push you to make sure that you reach your goals, and that will increase your self-esteem and self-awareness in whatever you do in life. And now we're going to look at how motivation will increase your productivity at work. You have to be basically you have to understand the self-motivation is very hard to generate. I don't know about you. For me, I find the self-motivation is hard to generate. However, if you have something in your life that you are able and willing to work for, what drives you? Basically, what are you working for? So that's the question you need to ask yourself. What are you working for? So you need to ask yourself if you want to increase your productivity, and you need to have inspiring duties for your work. What inspires you when you get to work? What kind of work that inspires you? And the thing with most people is that they just don't have a job. They think it is important. Some people, they hate their job. They say, I hate my job. I hate my boss. But why are you there? You ask him, maybe 99% they'll tell you that I don't like my job. I hate my job. If you don't like your job, if you hate it, that means you need to do something. And that means basically, if you somebody that says I hate my job, I hate my boss, that means you do not have a role in the workplace that makes you fulfilled. So that means you have to do something. So you will want to make sure that you find something in the job that you basically that inspires you and that gets you motivated and to go the distance with a job. When I mean go the distance, it means a job that can take you where you want to go, a job that basically you can speak proudly about it. So the key to making sure your to make sure that you basically your job is motivational is looking for ways that you need to look for ways that you may have in that work, ways basically you may have in that potential work. So the ways could mean basically you can foresee maybe promotion, or maybe you can basically you can begin to apply for a new job, or you can ask for a pay rise if you are not happy with how much you are getting paid. And before you ask for a pay rise, basically the company will look at it. Basically you need to let's talk about motivation, and then we bring the attitude in it. So when you are in a job, you want that job to motivate you, but your manager is annoying, or your manager is annoying. So you need to not to worry about the manager, because the manager is not your boss. Manager is your boss, but your boss is not the owner of the company. So what you need to worry about, if you get along with the owner of the company, so you find yourself something that motivates you. So once you find something that motivates you, and then it means that you will work hard and somebody will be impressed with your work. Remember, your job, it doesn't matter what your manager says. What matters is what you do, your attitude at work, your attitude in the business, your attitude in relationship, your attitude everywhere. It doesn't matter what your in-laws or what anybody says about you. So you still, if you are in a relationship, you still need to find something that motivates you, which means it is your relationship that you are in it, and the person that you are in love with in that relationship. And work, worry about the CEO and the manager. But if the manager is not you don't get along with the manager, make sure your attitude is not the cause of you not getting along with your manager, because you miss out. So if your manager, basically, what I was listening to an audio today, and this guy was talking about, he basically came across to somebody that came looking for help in his office, and that person wasn't getting along with his manager. But then he said to him, don't worry about your manager, because he's not the owner of the company. Do what you do best. So the guy listened to him. He did what he did best, and the owner of the company, the CEO, was actually impressed, and they promoted him. The manager that was his boss, that was actually annoying him, the guy ended up being his boss. So the tables were turned. So it doesn't matter, you have to find something that motivates you, that basically you will want to make sure that you also you are able to put the time and the work in that job basically for you to be fulfilled. That means that if you know that you are going to take a job that requires a lot of your time, a lot of attention, then you will need to prepare to go fully. You will need to prepare every time you go to work. If you end up taking a job that is more than you can handle, you will not be motivated, say the less. You will not be motivated. So it's very, very important to actually look at the things that basically look at the job that you are taking. Let's say that you have the potential, but you don't have the energy to put the effort in whatever could motivate you. What should you do? So the first thing that you will want to do is ask yourself why you don't feel the energy to generate your own self-motivation. What's the reason? There might be a reason. There must be something that is holding you back from your childhood, or maybe from your childhood, or from basically the relationship that you cross path. So there must be something that is there. It might be that you are scared of adding responsibilities, or you may just be worried about what others will perceive you, because sometimes we tend to worry too much about what people think about us. And or you may just, most of the time when you are not motivated yourself, is because you have some time of some type of emotionally or mentally conflict. So that's why some people, they have less motivation, or sometimes you may just not be ready for more work, or sometimes you don't feel like it, but you don't feel to move on. It could be just as simple as that. Or you have all you've got to do is just make something for your life. Make something for your life. That's all you got to do. If you are not motivated, just sit down. Think about something in your life that how can you have a life that is fulfilled? Just sit down. Even if you've been hurt by we live in this world where basically we live in a world where sometimes you're gonna basically walk in dark times. It can either be relationships, it can either be work, it can either be business, it can either be simply you basically feeling low as a human being. In life we go through different challenges. So you're gonna have to look at your life and what can you do? Just ask yourself, what can you do to bring to have a meaningful life, to bring that fulfillment? That doesn't mean you have to go for a CEO. However, you feel better about that achievement. If you work for somebody, some people they feel they're happy working for somebody else, and so you're gonna have to think, how can you basically create something that can bring a meaningful life? If you are not in a relationship and you want that meaningful relationship, so how can you go about it, getting what you want? You want that promotion, how can you go getting about what you want? If your work is harder, or if you believe that life is harder, you might have to change your thinking. You might have to change how you see life, how you view the world, how you view people around you. So you might have to make some work on your habit. And but if you are working for a company, if you work hard, it's like myself, I have my own company. I notice people that work very hard. I notice them even at gossip talk shows. We have speakers that they fully on. They put all their strength. In gossip talk show, it's not just like in gossip talk shows. It has a meaning for them, so you can see it. You don't have to actually basically ask somebody. You can see that some people basically they are all in. It's like when you work hard, the company will notice those small achievements, and then they'll give you a reward for your work, for your basically for your hard work. If you are that person that basically wants to work really, really hard, basically the whole point of increasing your productivity is in the hope of being noticed by upper management, or by getting a basically by increasing your life and getting that fulfilling life that you desire. And if you are not motivated, basically productive, you need to look at inside yourself. Find a piece of your job or your career inside that you like, then stick with it. Some people, they like to try different things, they like to do this and do that, and just search within and find something, that thing that inside of you and that you like, and stick with that. You should also make sure that you always accept a job that will give you a promised future. Don't just go for any job or something to look forward to. Go for a job that will give you a promise, a future that has promise in it. So that's how you basically you motivate yourself with productivity. Motivation for productivity, and motivation for recovering. Drug addicts, some people may say, like drugs, they might say, oh, I'm not into drugs, I'm not this, blah blah blah. So the thing is, motivation for recovering drug addicts, so you have to try to stay away from drugs as well. The thing with those who are trying to recover from drugs, you will need a certain amount of motivation so that you can stay clean and avoid from falling off the wagon. Avoid friends that will pull you back where you've been. The environment, so make sure you are in the right environment. And where does such motivation stay within a person? Most of the motivations that are recovering addicts, they need the need comes from the inside of them. When somebody is addicted to something, that means there is a need inside. For recovering addict to stay clean, they will have to want to stay clean. You will have to find the need within you for wanting to stay clean. What is the reason? What is that big reason that makes you want to stay clean? Why do you want to stay clean? So you will have to find that reason and ask yourself, why do I want to stay clean? It's very, very important to actually find a reason. And once you do find a reason, once you find that reason wanting to stay clean, and so many people basically they fall off the wagon. But however, if you just find the motivation, then you will be able to recover from anything. Sometimes you might have bad days, sometimes you might have good days. It's okay to have bad days. You don't have to judge yourself. Carol Anna always talk about don't make yourself wrong. So you don't have to make yourself wrong if you are actually going through bad days. And you don't have to worry about people around you. If you get into drugs, you get into drugs. Your basically your judgment is between God, you and God. So you don't have to worry about you. You have to worry about people that are willing to help you. Don't worry about anybody else. Worry about those who you know 1000% they want to help you to get out of drugs. So that is the motivation that you need to find is the motivation to accept who you are and find the courage to change it. If you are actually a drug addict, see yourself as a drug addict. Don't see yourself for making excuses. Some people, they say, I am who I am because of my ex. I am who I am because of my parents. I am who I am. Just see yourself as, if you're a drug addict, see yourself as a drug addict. When you see the truth as it is, then you'll be able to face the truth and change the reality to the reality that you want. So you'll be able to do that. There are so many people basically who manage to stay clean because they don't allow themselves to feel the pity. They don't allow people to pity them. They know that they need to get out, and they are motivated to get up and charge and basically take charge of their lives. When somebody wants to take charge, they want to take charge. They basically they don't want no excuses. Those get out who don't want no excuses, they get out. When you are on drugs, you are not in charge of your life. You are not in charge of your destiny. The drugs are in charge of your life. They are in charge of your destiny. But with the proper amount of motivation, you should be able to see the hard times through and come back out of rehab with good solid grasp of life and reality. That comes with a choice, that comes with a wanting things to change, that comes with you seeing the reality as they are. I've never been on I've never taken drugs before, but I have studied psychology. I have had to work on the drugs. Basically, I've had to work on theories where how do you deal with people who are in drugs and stuff, who are addicts and stuff. So basically what you need is not to judge yourself in life or feel pity. When it comes to finding the motivations, there are so many things that you can turn so that you can find that motivation within you. You can turn to your friends, but make sure you turn to the good friends, not that made you actually turn into the addict. If they are the ones that made you basically contributed for you to turn into drugs, so you need to make sure that if they are clean, yes, you can turn to them. If they are clean and they've cleaned themselves and they don't feel pity and they are willing to help you, yes, you can turn to your friends and turn to your family. There's always one champion in the family to support you. There's always professionals as well who can support you to stay off drugs. You can also show yourself joining some activities, churches, local churches. They do have activities. You can learn how to paint, learn how to draw, learn how to write, play music, and anything that allows you to focus off that needs of drugs. You won't have so many cravings if you keep yourself busy and having that awareness, not avoiding, having that awareness, and then you'll be inspired. Basically, if you focus on the things that brings you, focus on the things that are good for you, then you'll be inspired. And there are so many artists that develop their hidden talent because of their ability to reach out for life instead of drugs. They were into drugs, and then they find that they are actually talented because they they spend their time with their music, with doing something. So the whole point basically is of motivation is for your rehabilitation, for you to find something that you can learn, and until you are able to stand on your own. Because when you are into drugs, you can't stand on your own. So it's something that can give you that meaningless, a life that has a meaning, not life without meaning. So when you get hooked on drugs, you can spend years depending on your next fix, basically. And it is hard to depend on yourself when you have been depending on substances for a long time. That's why you will need to find something that will motivate you and for you to help you to stay clean, and so that you can be who you want to be. It doesn't have to be another person. It doesn't, but it can be, if you can learn if you can basically lean on a close family members or loved ones until you are able to stand on your own, that's fine. But you keep motivating yourself. As long as that person, they are willing to motivate you, they are not willing to blame you. Some people go on and on and on. When they are helping you, like, they will always remind you what you've done and things like that. So you don't want people that will remind you the wrongs you've done. You want people that want to get you out, that are willing to help you to get out. So you can lean on those kind of people. You'll find your motivation from the relationship, much like an artist. Find the motivation in painting. Some they find motivation in writing music. Some they find motivation in doing so many things in life. So how do you find that motivation to get away from addictions? It doesn't matter what your addictions are. Sometimes the only thing that matters is that you are willing to find ways to overcome them. It doesn't matter what you are addicted to. Is that. So you will need to find the right motivation before you can plan to basically to do whatever you want to do, or you will never make it. If you want to get out, you have to find ways. In fact, if you aren't strong enough to recover, most people will end up falling off the wagon back, hitting their addictions harder than ever. So you don't want to be in that situation. You put yourself in jeopardy. You just need to relax. Find something inside of you that will give you that motivation from going back to addictions. You need to relax. You need to take a chill pill and relax. Some people, they're like, basically, to get rid of blame, stop blaming yourself. And when you stop blaming yourself, that means you get things done. Because if you've made a mistake and you want to blame yourself for something, then basically you will need to not blame yourself or make yourself wrong, and just find something within that will help you. If you really are committed to your rehabilitation, then you begin to find more inspiration to help you want to recover. The first step is hard. The first step, that is the hardest one, is saying no. When you have created a habit, saying no to that habit is hard. It's really, really hard. The second step is even harder. It means saying no forever. Forever. It's like when you are in a relationship, you are in an abusive relationship. saying no to that person that is abusing you is the hardest thing. I don't know what people, I don't care what people say. People might say it's easy, but it is hard. You have to give every man, every woman that have gone out into an abusive relationship, because saying no to that relationship, saying no to that addiction is the hardest thing. It's really, really hard. So that is the hardest thing, to say no forever. Forever, ever, ever, ever. I am not going back to that relationship that has no meaning. I am not going back to drugs. I'm not talking about me. Saying I'm not going back to drugs, that is the hardest thing anyone can do. So to find a restraint, you will have to begin to learn on your sober, to lean on your clean sober, and lean on your friends and family, and then also on things like art activities. You may become interested in, or once you find something that you can do instead of addictions, you'll get stronger, you'll be motivated, and to make a clean and sober life for yourself. So you basically have a meaningful life. It's not going to be easy. I'm not saying you're just going to get up one day and say, but some people do. There are some things that I do sometimes. I've seen it with myself. I do it, and then sometimes I get up in the morning and I'm like, no, that's not me. I'm not doing it. And I just refuse. Or even when I'm doing something or a business, sometimes if it's not working, I get out of it. I just wake up some day and I'm like, I'm not doing it. It's not serving me. It's not giving me anything. Or somebody calls me and they're like, would you like to do this? Would you like to advertise your business in this? You advertise and you see there's no improvement. You don't see any return in it. You just have to say no. So that is the hardest. So as somebody who's an addict, you're gonna have to learn to say, basically find the things that save you. It's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be hard, but some people are addicted to sex. Some people are addicted to gambling, internet, which is a big problem as well. It's not different than drug addictions. Sex is the same. So some people, in these cases, you will find strength in people around you, and you may want to get a therapist to help you cope with those cravings and with those addictions, even with the drugs as well. Or sometimes you might need a pastor. Some things just need the Bible deliverance. So you might need a pastor, you might need to go to church. There's so many good people, good churches where you can actually go and explain your problem, and they'll be willing to help you. So some people need deliverance. Some things, when you are addicted to something, it means it's an energy that needs to break away from you. So in order for you to actually break away forever, you might need a therapist to work with, or you might need God. I don't know your beliefs. You may just need God, because He is the creator of our destiny. So you might need to lean on Him just a little bit, even if you are not a believer, just a little bit by bit, and then you eventually you will lean fully on Him. Just by, if you have the right people around you. There are so many people who basically went to drugs, and some people, they were addicted to porno, some people addicted to all sorts of different things, but most of them, like 99%, they tell you that they had to lean on Him, they had to lean on God and seek His help, and it works. When you lean on God, it works. So you might have to find somebody that can help you. That you might have to find a church somebody that can give you some deliverance. Motivation comes from so many things, and you'll find that many objects that can help you from destroying your life. Basically, you may find that there are so many things that you need to open yourself up to, so that you can find that motivation to get away from the distraction or the behavior. Just find something to get away from that addictions. As long as you are not avoiding it, avoid to avoid. Face it. Face the reality. This is the reality that you will be facing, and just see it as it is, and deal with it. Find a pastor, a good pastor, good church, find yourself a good Bible. If you are not a Christian, you might have to wanting to lean on something. But if you are not a Christian and you don't want to be a Christian, and you can find, there are some churches that can help you without you becoming a Christian. They can help you. They do activities in churches for free, or they run charities there. Even in my church, we do have a charity within the church, where if you are going through some challenging times, so you can just walk in. They always have teas and coffee. They always have volunteers that are volunteering to actually help people that are going through tough times. So you might have to find those kind of places in your own in your local community. So that is that. Once you are able to grasp life, once you are able to grasp on life, or the reality of it, and reality, you may want to think about some of the things that motivate you stay clean. You may want to basically think about the hobbies, the things that you want to be part of while you are recovering, and the things that you might need to learn. Sometimes you need to learn to pinpoint what motivates you, so that you don't feel the need to get back to gambling, or you don't feel the need to go back to that addictions, whatever that addictions might be. Once you find that little bit of motivation that keeps you from the addictions that might be, you will need more things. You will need more things, and things like that will give you the strength. You need strength. For me, what gives me strength? There's only one thing that gives me strength. When the whole world is against me, there's only one thing that gives me strength, which is God. God is my strength. God is everything to me. He's my refuge. When everybody else says I'm not enough, he says, no, sir, you are enough. When everybody says I have no strength, he gives me that strength. When everybody is draining my energy, God gives me energy. When everybody else is against me, God says, I love you. God says, come to me with all your tears, with all your body. He gives me strength. He gives me life to breathe. So I know that I'm okay. So you might have to find those kind of things that might motivate you, motivate yourself, or influence the things that you are influenced by, and give you some positive responses, and the people that can give you support and help you to recover with your recovery. Support such as friends, family, and then you can get courage and strength to continue your recovery. You cannot do it on your own. You are going to need support the most when you feel the need to slip up. but by using the motivation that you get from others and from yourself, you should be able to recover without slipping out. So that's what you need to do. And sometimes it can be easy, sometimes it is not. So how do you motivate yourself? When it comes to motivating yourself, you'll find that it is the hardest thing to do. It's just so much easier to offer your opinion to others and offer yourself some advice. I find it very, very easy to offer somebody advice than to offer myself some advice. So you may be the type who can easily be motivated sometimes, but you might not be. Either way, it is still hard to motivate yourself. The key of motivating yourself is to find a good, solid self-esteem level. It took me 7 years. It was 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 7 years to actually fully motivate myself and find that self-esteem level and the solid one. It took me that long. So you will need to respect who you are if you want to stay motivated. You will need to respect yourself and also accept yourself for who you are as a person, and accept for who you are, because what is greater than what's on the inside of you is greater than what's on the outside. But if only you just how great it feels to motivate yourself. If you would like to find a way to help with the motivation and how it feels, you may want to think about seeking counseling. When you seek counseling, that means you dig deep to things, you start facing things that you don't want to face. It is not a bad thing to see someone about how you are feeling. In fact, it can be a solid way to actually go about if you are lacking motivation. Once you are able to work on yourself, you will be able to unlock all your channels and find a true motivation to go for something in your life. I basically once went to three psychologists. Four. This was 4 psychologists. And I was finding myself. I was turning up and finding myself. I wasn't telling people because people would talk you out. I knew there was something that I needed to unlock. I knew there was something within me that was missing, and I wanted to find out. The real, basically, I'm gonna say my basically name is Ngosi, and then Nomsa is my middle name. The real Ngosi Talk Show is named after me. So I wanted to find out the real Nomsa and the real Ngosi. Who is the real Ngosi? Who is the real? I wanted to find out the real me within. Who am I? The things that I can do. I wanted to find out those things, but on my own, I couldn't. I had gone through, my parents had gone through divorce. But at the time when they're going through divorce, when they go through divorce, I was young anyway when they divorced. But it affected me. When I was at home, I was fine with my parents, my dad. When I started getting into relationships, getting work, when I moved out from home, that's when things changed. I was faced with the reality of who is me. And that me, I could not figure it out on my own. I was confused. I never got into drugs. I never got into alcohol. I've never ever drank alcohol. Never ever took drugs. But I was confused. People seem to get confused. You must have been going through substance. No, I was confused. My inside of me, it was dark. But I was normal. I thought everything was normal, but I was dark. So those 4 psychologists that I went through, they had to unlock something within to make me realize that it is okay to go through divorce. It is okay. It was okay for my parents if they had divorced, because if they had stayed together, and it would have affected me. Basically, I don't think they divorced because they didn't love each other. My parents divorced because they wanted different things. They loved each other, but they wanted different things. My dad wanted a woman that would stay at home and look after his kids. But my mom wanted both. So my dad wanted to be basically a provider, somebody that would go to work and bring everything for his family. But my mom wanted both. She wanted family and she wanted a career. She wanted to get out there, be somebody. But with the two, because they were young, when they got married, it didn't work at the time. So that's why they divorced. And when I got older, I could not understand. When I got older, it affected my relationships. It affected me as a person. But I thought that, when you know what I mean. You think everything is okay, but inside it's not okay. So I had to go through these psychologists to help me basically figure me out. So they did help me, and I did figure me out because I wanted to figure me out. So there are so many things that you can do to motivate yourself. You have to find the things that really you really find interesting. There are so many things. There are so many people basically that lack the inspiration. So you have to find those things that inspires you. But once you find something that catches the eye, that motivates you further, you just have to go out after it and stick to it. Most people need that extra push. However, there are so many people who need push into reality. So I was one of those people, not that needed extra push, but I basically look at the reality, and I told myself that my life needs to change, and at that moment in my life it needed to change, and I was happy to change it, and I was happy to take action and go and seek help. So the worst part about people who are not self-motivated is that they always listening to others. And for me, it's a habit that I had to get rid of it, listening to others. If it makes sense, I listen to it, but you cannot listen to the negativity that comes from others. You can listen to the positive. You have to learn how to motivate yourself, not to care about others. And to not to care about others, because if you care about what others think, you're not going to stay motivated, and the others do not matter. If it is something that truly want to do, pursue. If you really want to pursue something, what matters is you, your willingness, your courage, your basically if you are willing to turn that something into positive, and remove the negative that you may encounter, but not and then make sure you reach your aim. However, if you learn to find the strength to keep trying, you will find the motivation to keep your aim high. So you're gonna need to be surrounded by the right people. You're gonna need to be surrounded by. You're gonna need a good environment if you want to motivate yourself. And you're gonna have to face the reality, and the reality is something that no one wants to face. So you're gonna have to do that. And then how do we motivate others? I think I'm gonna stop here on how do we motivate others. You may think that it's easy to motivate others, but that depends on their personality. It depends on their environment. It depends on their attachment, childhood attachment, as well as yours. You may not be the type of a person who can inspire someone. Not everyone can inspire someone. But however, you may actually just the point to motivate your dear loved one to find something that they truly feel passionate about, or you may want to think about how you can say things before you say it through, or you may basically want to be. Sometimes when I pray to God, I always, God, help me to be the change in my family line. Help me to change my family. Help me to make a difference in my family. Help me to make a difference in my bloodline. Let me the difference. Let me the person that help brings difference to my family. In that way, I'm praying for somebody to become who they want to become. I'm praying for my bloodline to become who they should become. So sometimes you may, like, I don't know your beliefs. Sometimes God may use you to change somebody else's life. When you think about the way that you are coming off to the other, then you should be able to have what it takes to motivate someone. When it comes to the way that you say things, or you are going to have to look at the way that basically maybe where somebody is coming from, and the way you are approaching the subject, or the tone of your voice that you are using when you are helping that person, or as well as the words that you are using. When it comes to communication, people do not realize that it might not be what they are saying, but what are they saying. So you want to make sure that you are communicating your message appropriate, not making someone wrong. So we all have gone through different journeys in life. We all have gone through challenges in life. So when we learn things, so you have to be somebody that, if you want to motivate somebody, you have to make sure that you don't make them wrong, and then they'll be okay. And the first thing you want to do is take out the words, take out you in your words. When you use words like I think you are going to find somebody's going to get on the defense thing. If you are going to find that others are going to take you to the wrong way, or things are going to come out right. So you will need to take out some words, like in the wording, how you word, and things like that. You're going to also want to take out the negative comment out of motivational speech when you are helping somebody, because when somebody doesn't know something and you want to teach them, you want to motivate them, you have to find ways that can help them. It doesn't just work just like that. You come and see you did this, no, it doesn't come like that. So you will need to watch the words that you use and the way that you say them, so that you are able to positively reinforce everything that you would like to say and inspire the person. Everybody is inspired by somebody. You can inspire people in so many ways. What you have gone through, by just telling your story, but by just just helping somebody. So that inspiring. However, if you get the picture as much as the person that you are trying to motivate, you are going to have to learn how to listen. Listening can be very hard when you are used to doing all the speaking. It can be really, really hard. However, you're going to need to learn how you will be able to fully communicate with someone that you are trying to help. Without, Carol Ann always say, never make anyone wrong when you are helping them. Don't make them wrong. Never ever make them wrong. For me, basically, I tell people the truth. At the end of the day, it's up to that person how they take their truth. When it comes to motivating somebody, you have to tell them the reality as it is. It's hard to motivate anyone. All you have to do is make sure that you are there for the person and that you are there for them when they need you. It is very, very important, because it is your support that they need, and your support that will motivate them to reach out for bigger things that they need. If you are able to just be friends to the person, or you will find that eventually you will encourage them to be a better person. So you have to, there are so many rules on how to encourage somebody, or principles that you can put in place, or you can read about it. All you have to do is be there for them and support them, create a support system, and keep the communication lines open. Make sure that you do not make them wrong, and then you also want to keep suggesting new ideas so that they might find something that motivates them. It's a great way. Basically, this is a great way to begin a stronger and a closer relationship with someone, and helping that person to find the right path. Because remember, when somebody is not motivated, that means the path is not clear. That means they need help. So anyone who is able to be a good friend, a good family member, can motivate a person by reaching out for bigger and better things. Anyone who is able to be a good friend can motivate a person to reach out and fulfill whatever they want to fulfill. So everyone has a destiny that they want to fulfill. So you could be a champion for that person to fulfill that destiny, to be who they want to be. So I think I'm going to leave this, basically I'm going to leave here. It's 11 minutes past 2. So yeah, so you can help somebody to become who they want to become. However, you can do that. So I am gonna love you guys and leave you, and we are here at Ghost Talk Shows Monday to Friday, UK time, 1 p.m. So if you want to join us, please do join us. If you're watching this video later, please press some heart button and share with your loved ones, and motivate your loved ones. Don't leave them if they are at the lowest. Just motivate them. And God bless you. Live with grace.